This story is created by a parent like you, using Talebot.
Darren and the Yeti's Luminous Quest in the Village of Lights. A special bedtime story for Darren. Once upon a time, in a cozy little village nestled at the edge of the Luminous Grove, lived a boy named Darren. Darren was not your ordinary 1-year-old. While most children his age were learning to walk and talk, Darren had a secret. Every night, under the cloak of stars, Darren could speak the language of the animals and magical creatures of the forest. One calm evening, as Darren lay in his crib, a soft glow began to fill his room. It wasn't the moonlight or the stars that lit up the space, it was a map. A map made of light, floating gently towards him, as if carried by the wind. Darren reached out, and as he touched it, the map whispered in a language only he could understand. It was a call for help from the Yeti of Luminous Grove. The very next night, with the magical map clutched in his tiny hand, Darren set off on an adventure. He was greeted by the cool night breeze and the chirping of crickets. The map led him to the edge of the village, where the Luminous Grove began. The forest, under the glow of bioluminescent flowers and twinkling fireflies, looked like a scene from a dream. As Darren ventured deeper into the forest, he met various creatures. Each had heard of Darren's courage and offered him gifts, a pair of shoes from the nimble foxes that made him swift, a cloak from the owls that made him invisible to danger, and a tiny lantern from the fireflies to light his path. Finally, Darren reached a clearing where the Yeti awaited. The Yeti, a gentle giant covered in glowing fur, looked down at Darren with soft, luminous eyes. "Thank you for coming, Darren," the Yeti said in a voice that was like a quiet rumble of thunder. "Our forest is in danger. The river of light that feeds the Luminous Grove is fading. Without it, the forest will lose its glow, and all the creatures that rely on its light will be lost." Darren, understanding the gravity of the situation, nodded.
Talebot, tailor-made tales for your child's dreams.
The Yeti handed him a small, glowing orb. "This is the heart of the forest. It needs to be placed at the source of the river of light to restore its flow," explained the Yeti. The journey to the river's source was not easy. It took Darren through winding paths, across sparkling streams, and under towering trees. He encountered challenges along the way, a bridge that needed fixing, a path overgrown with thorns, and a dark cave. But with his courage, the gifts from the forest creatures, and a little bit of Yeti magic, Darren overcame them all. At last, they arrived at the river's source, a serene pond that reflected the stars above. Darren, with the Yeti by his side, placed the heart of the forest into the water. Slowly, the pond began to glow, brighter and brighter, until a beam of light shot up into the sky, spreading across the forest, restoring the river of light to its full glory. The forest burst into life, more luminous than ever. The creatures of the Luminous Grove gathered around Darren, cheering and singing. The Yeti knelt down, placing a gentle hand on Darren's shoulder. "You have saved our home, Darren. You have shown us that even the smallest among us can make a big difference." As the first light of dawn began to peek through the trees, Darren found himself back in his crib, the map no longer in his hand but the memories of his adventure fresh in his mind. That night, and many nights after, Darren would stare out his window at the Luminous Grove, now knowing its secrets and the friends he had made. His adventure with the Yeti taught him that bravery comes in all sizes, and that kindness and courage can light up the darkest of places. And so, under the watchful eyes of the stars and the gentle glow of the Luminous Grove, Darren drifted off to sleep, dreaming of his next great adventure.
Created by a kid and their parent using Talebot, click the link in the video description to create your own story.